I remember when I was 5 or 6, and it was that young because I was like kindergarten. I remember going to a quinceañera, and I have no idea whose quinceañera was, but I remember making friends and making really good friends with this one boy that I totally had a boy crush on. And unfortunately, I don't remember his name, but I remember just thinking like, oh man, I'm not going to see you again. And I remember having the thought when I was 5 or 6, like, this is what being lovesick feels like knowing that I have to go to school and I'm not going to be able to see this boy. But, also knowing that I couldn't be authentic. I couldn't actually admit to my parents at that time that I missed this other little boy, and that I wanted to spend more time with him, and that, being just sad about that. Like, I knew that those are feelings I had to keep to myself. I feel like I've always been queer, meaning, when I was 13, I bleached my hair red. My dad put an end to that very quickly, right? And it was not acceptable. But, I always, I experimented with like makeup in my goth stages and put on these like tight shirts that said The Cure on them, most of my friends are girls. So with girls, I could be myself. We could role play. We could do, and I had, some of my best girlfriends. Like now, they're also doctors and they're also doing things. So I had the very good fortune of just being around amazing people. Even though we were poor Latino kids, we had, I think, an instilled sense of like ethics and hard work, even to our play. Was supposed to be Alejandro, my first name. They were going to call me Alejandro, but then when I was born, I had blue eyes, I had light colored eyes. And my brother, who has brown eyes, he told my mom, like, call him Steve, let's call him Steve. And so my mom thought about it. And then like after some time, she was like, yeah, okay, I think Steve is better than Alejandro, especially if we're going to be, living in Chicago. And then when she came back home, she realized that Steve was the name of the $6 Million Man, and that was my brother's favorite TV show. So, and I grew up thinking that Cisneros was my middle name because Cisneros is my maternal grandfather's name. So my mom's side of the family is Cisneros, and I grew up Garcia. But I had a traumatic coming out experience. And my dad said like, if my son's a fucking faggot, then you're no longer my son and get the fuck out of my house. And so, when that happened, I remember thinking like, all right, well, I guess I'm not your son, and so when I became a grown ass man and had the autonomy to be able to choose for myself what my name would be, I went with my mom's family. You're okay. It's hard to believe that now. But no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. You're smart. You're smart. Worry less about your intellect and worry more about further developing your heart, because that's your strength. Keep doing you. You're doing a good job. I would also tell to my 15-year-old self, I'm proud of you. It's hard to navigate things by yourself. It's hard to not have role models, and you're doing a good job. People will try to tell you that your best friends aren't the most important people and that family's more important. At almost 40, I could tell you that they were wrong and you were right. Your best friends are your family, and they will still be by you, 20 years later, and you'll be celebrating their kids. You'll be celebrating your successes together.